Hey guys, welcome back to Sledgehammer Horror. I'm Ashley Sledge, and let's talk horror. So today I'm going to review the movie Casper from 1995. I went and seen this movie, I was about 6 years old. I went and seen this with my family, and I was so excited, and I loved it. It's just this cute little iconic family movie that I make my family watch with me every year, every Halloween season. 28 years later, it's still playing on all these different, cable, and it's streaming just because it's iconic and people still love it today. So I'm going to talk about some of the positives of the movie. So now I want to talk about some of the positives to the movie. And I feel like you can't talk about Casper without talking about the beautifully written score by James Horner. One of my all-time favorites. I've listened to this in my car. It just makes the emotion to this movie just 10 times more powerful. Like you can feel it welling up. The cinematography, this was filmed in a small town in Maine. It's so beautiful by the water. You have scenes like Casper flying over the water, and then to add the score to that is awesome. It's in the fall. It feels very 90s, and it's just comforting. It feels like growing up in the 90s for me. Then you have the digital effects. The ghosts, for the most part, look pretty good. Even today, 28 years later, it still holds up pretty well. Casper looking a little more human than his uncles, but I will get into that a little later. Casper, he was the first CGI character to play a lead role. And I feel like the actors did a great job, like knowing where to look when they're talking to him, things like that. I thought was great. Then you have the actors, Christina Ricci. She played Wednesday Addams, and now she's playing Kat, and the transition between the two is really great. She's this young teenager that's grieving the loss of her mother, and she's really trying to not bother her dad with it because he's also grieving. Bill Pullman, Dr. Harvey, Kat's dad, he's a great dad actor. You really feel like he loves his daughter, and their relationship is really great and very realistic. He's also grieving his wife, and you have him fearing raising this teenage daughter by himself. He just thinks he's messing it all up, which I think is all real emotion for people. Then you have Kathy Moore-Arty. Even at a young age, I knew Kerrigan. I knew that she was evil, and I wanted her to pay for the way she acted. She did her job. She's the villain in this movie. Then you have Devon Sawa. He has such a small part at the end, but I love the part where he's walking down the stairs and Kat's at the other side of the room, and she's sad because she doesn't have any friends, and he asks her to dance, and they're dancing, and he looks at her and says, "I told you I was a good dancer."
I told you I was a good dancer. Can I keep you?
I love that. It's a little creepy now, but can I keep you? So cute, so sweet. It just made me smitten with him back then. There's a lot of emotion to this movie. It's different from watching it as a kid and watching it as an adult. You get two different realities with it. As a kid, it's fun, it's funny. You have issues with bullies. You have the grief that she's going through. As an adult, it's just so much more emotional. You pick up on more things. You have, like I said, there's grieving. You have Dr. Harvey and you have Kat that are grieving the loss of Amelia. You have Casper, who is a child ghost. He died as a child. He is also grieving the loss of his life and the loss of his dad. He tells Kat,
Cold. And I got sick. Dad got sad.
and he couldn't cross over because he didn't want to leave his dad there by himself. So now he's just stuck here as this child ghost, just waiting for Kat to come. And then you have greed. You have Kerrigan, who only cares about money. She said, "I held my dad's hand so that maybe she would be on the will and she would get his money." And all she got was a condemned haunted house, which she thought there was treasure in. We find out what the treasure actually is. So she does get, the karma does get her. She becomes a ghost, and they trick her into saying she has no unfinished business left. So she crosses over, which, you know, obviously you're happy, karma got her. And then there's selflessness. You have Casper, who wants to become a boy again, but when he sees Dr. Harvey's a ghost and he sees that Cat is just crying like, Dad, no, you know, she already lost her mom, she can't lose her dad too. He selflessly lets him go in the Lazarus, and he becomes her dad again, and Casper has to stay the ghost. He does get rewarded for one night though, but it's still it's very sweet, and just the love that he feels for Cat and the selflessness at a young age too. Young age, young ghost. And then you have a bunch of cameos. You have Stance from Ghostbusters. Who are you gonna call? Someone else. Clint Eastwood, you have Mel Gibson, and then you have our boy, the Crypt Keeper. I thought that was all really cool that you have all these little cameos. So those are the positives. Now I'm gonna talk about some of the negatives. So now I want to talk about some of the negatives. There's a lot more positives than negatives in my opinion, but some of them, they might be a little picky, but the ghosts, uncles, Stretch, Fatso, and Stinky, they look very cartoonish, more than the other ghosts. Their heads are weird shapes, like almost like the poop emoji shaped. And whereas the other ghosts, they're more human looking. You know, at least Casper has a round head. So again, small pick. Some of the side characters, like the bully, Amber, and her boyfriend, Vic, are obnoxious. I don't feel like Vic is a very believable actor. I do like that they get dealt with for being the bullies. You know, the uncles, they scare them and they run out. The ending, it feels like they weren't sure how to end it. Are they going to stay in the mansion? Can Casper cross over? Instead they just dance and spell out the end. So it just feels like they didn't know where to end it. And then Casper, I feel like he was made, when he's a ghost, he's made as like a younger kid, like maybe 9-10 years old. Whereas when he becomes a real boy, he's more like Cat's age, like 12-13. Kids usually don't care at that age about like trains and stuff like that. I just feel like his ghost character felt way younger than what he appears when he's a real boy. And then how Casper can hold some things but he can't hold other things. Like when he first meets Cat, her hands go through him, but yet he can carry her across the water. He gets his treasure and his signed baseballs in there. He's able to throw that up, but other things just go right through his hand. Again, very little picks on the negatives. I'm just being picky here at this point, just to give you some negatives. So now I'm going to kind of talk about some final thoughts. So some of my final thoughts are, this movie, it's just nostalgic, especially for us kids that grew up in that era. It's fun, it's silly, over-the-top humor. It's very 90s, and I love that about it. It's lighthearted, it's sweet. Out of 5 skulls, I'm going to give it a 4. They put a lot of work into bringing Casper alive, and I feel like it still holds up today. Like I said, they still play it every Halloween season. I watch it every Halloween season because that's how much it means to me, and I'm sure a lot of other people. So let me know down in the comments, what do you think of Casper? Do you love him? Do you hate him? Are you indifferent? So I hope you guys enjoyed. Until next time, keep talking horror, stay who you are, and we'll see you guys soon.